the girl who looked sideways at the world. For as long as she could remember, Afsheen Gul saw life from a different angle. Her neck twisted at nearly 90 degrees, forcing her to stare permanently at the ground beside her feet. Born in the dusty village of Mithi in Pakistan's Sindh province, she was the youngest of 7 siblings, and for 12 years, every simple thing most children take for granted felt like climbing a mountain. It started when she was just 10 months old. Her older sister was holding her, playing in their one-room mud house, when her hands slipped. Afsheen tumbled to the dirt floor, a small fall that would reshape her entire life. At first, her parents didn't notice anything wrong, but as months passed, her neck began to curve, slowly at first, then more sharply, until her chin pressed against her shoulder and her head was fixed in a sideways slant. Doctors in their village gave her a neck brace and some pills, but nothing helped. As she grew older, the condition worsened. She couldn't sit up straight, walk without stumbling, or even feed herself without her mother's help. To make things harder, Afsheen was also born with cerebral palsy, which slowed her speech and made her movements stiff. She never went to school. How could she write or look at a blackboard when her eyes were locked on the ground? And spent most of her days lying on a mat in the corner of her home, watching her siblings play outside through a narrow crack in the wall. Her father, a daily wage laborer, did his best to save for treatment, but with 7 mouths to feed, there was never enough money. When he passed away in 2020, the family almost lost all hope. "We thought this was how she would live forever," her mother Jamilan Bibi later told reporters, wiping tears from her eyes. "She never complained, but I could see the sadness in her eyes when she watched other children run and laugh." A ray of hope across borders. In 2019, a British journalist named Alexandria Thomas visited Mithi and heard about Afsheen's story. She filmed a short documentary called "My Neck is Stuck at 90 Degrees," which was shared on social media and quickly went viral. Pakistani celebrities like Ahsan Khan shared her photo, and an MP promised government support. But when the family took her to Karachi's Aga Khan University Hospital, doctors said surgery was possible but risky, with only a 50% chance of survival. The cost was far beyond what they could afford, so they took her home. Months later, halfway across the border in Delhi, India, a renowned spine surgeon named Dr. Rajagopalan Krishnan saw the documentary. With 30 years of experience, including a decade working in the UK's NHS, he'd treated thousands of complex cases, but nothing like this. "When I saw her on screen, my heart sank," he recalled. "Her spine was twisted so badly, the spinal cord was being crushed. If we didn't act soon, she might not survive another year." Dr. Krishnan reached out to Afsheen's eldest brother, Mohammad Yaqub Kumbar, through a mutual contact. "I'll do everything I can to help," he said over a shaky Skype call, "and I won't charge a single rupee." Yaqub couldn't believe his ears. For years, they'd begged for help, and now a doctor from a country with which theirs shared so much tension was offering to save his sister's life. With help from an Indian childcare organization called Darul Sukoon, the family applied for a medical visa. In November 2021, Yaqub and Afsheen boarded a flight to Delhi, her first time leaving Sindh, her first time seeing the sky from above without her neck twisting her view. The miracle in Delhi. When Dr. Krishnan first examined Afsheen at Indraprastha Apollo Hospital, he realized the case was even more complex than he'd thought. She was diagnosed with atlantoaxial rotatory dislocation, a rare condition where the top 2 vertebrae of her spine had rotated out of place, and years of neglect had caused severe damage to her spinal cord. "Every move was risky," he said. "One wrong cut could leave her paralyzed for life." His team decided on a 2-step plan. First, they fitted Afsheen with a halo gravity traction device, a metal ring bolted to her skull with 4 pins, attached to weights that slowly pulled her neck back into alignment over 6 weeks. "It was painful at first," Yaqub remembered, "but she never cried. She'd hold my hand and smile, as if she knew this was her chance." By February 2022, her neck had shifted from 90 degrees to 60, enough to proceed with surgery. The operation lasted 6 hours. Dr. Krishnan and his team carefully fused her skull to her cervical spine using titanium rods and screws, realigning her head so it sat straight on her shoulders for the first time since infancy. When the surgery ended, he walked out of the operating room and told Yaqub, "She's going to be okay." A new life to look forward to. Afsheen spent 3 months recovering in the hospital, and when she finally stood up and looked straight ahead, she broke into tears. "I can see everything," she whispered to her brother, her voice clear and strong for the first time in years. She could eat without help, walk steadily, and even turn her head to look at people when they spoke to her. Today, Back home in Mithi, Afsheen's life is unrecognizable from what it once was. She helps her mother with chores, plays with her nieces and nephews in the courtyard, and attends checkups with Dr. Krishnan every 6 months via video call. Though she's still building strength and hasn't started school yet, her family says she talks about becoming a teacher one day, someone who can help other children who feel trapped by their bodies. Dr. Krishnan isn't just a doctor to us, Yakub says, his voice thick with emotion. He's an angel. He showed us that humanity doesn't care about borders or politics. All that matters is helping someone in need. For Dr. Krishnan, the reward is simple. I've done thousands of surgeries, he says, but this one will stay with me forever. When she looked up at me and smiled, straight and proud, I knew we'd done more than fix her neck. We'd given her back her life.